Hello, dear children. Good morning. Today, let's learn a new chapter Water, a Precious Resources. As you know, it's a natural resource. It is very precious for us. It is required for several purposes. We need water for drinking, washing, cleaning, etc. The presence of water on the earth makes life possible on it. Around 71% of Earth's surface is covered by water. Major amount of this water cannot be consumed by us. Let us learn about the distribution of water on the earth. Distribution of water on the earth. As you know, the distribution of water over the globe is quite uneven. Some places have good amount of rain and are water rich. In India, the rainfall is not the same everywhere. Some regions have excessive rains while some others have very little rainfall. Excessive rains cause floods, whereas the absence of rain results in drought. Therefore, some regions in our country may have floods while others may suffer from droughts at the same time. About 97% of water on the earth is salty and it is present in the seas and oceans. Only 3% of water is clean, but out of which 2% of water is frozen in the form of ice caps in the glaciers, polar region and mountain peaks. Only 1% of water on the earth is available to us for our use in the form of underground water, lakes, tanks, rivers and streams. Next, let's discuss sources of water. The places from where we can obtain water are called source of water. A part of the rainwater that seeps into the ground through soil and gets collected over non-porous rocks is called groundwater. This water is extracted for use by the help of tube wells and hand pumps. Almost all the water on the earth is contained in the seas and oceans, rivers, lakes, ice caps as groundwater and in the atmosphere. As we said, most of this water is not fit for human consumption directly. The water that is fit for use is fresh water. The amount of water recommended by the United Nations for drinking, washing, cooking and maintaining proper hygiene is a minimum of 50 liters per person per day. This amount is about 2.5 buckets of water per person per day. Do you know? We celebrate Water Day every year to attract the attention of everybody towards the importance of conserving water. It is our duty to conserve water for next generation also. So we celebrate 22nd March as the World Water Day. Forms of water. As you know, water exists in three forms: solid, liquid and gas. The solid form, that is snow and ice, is present as ice caps at the poles of the earth, snow covered mountains and glaciers. Next form is liquid. Liquid water is present in oceans, lakes, rivers and even underground. And third form of water is gas. The gaseous form is the water vapor present in the air around us. The continuous cycling of water among its three forms keeps the total amount of water on the earth constant even when the whole world is using it. You know that the melting of ice results in the formation of water. When water on heating, it produces steam, that is in gaseous form. This steam can be converted into water on cooling. That process is called condensation. Conversion of gaseous form of water into liquid form, that is called condensation. Water to water vapor is called evaporation. The conversion of ice into water is called, that is heating of ice, that is called melting. Then the conversion of water into ice, that is called freezing. When water on cooling, you will get ice. That process, conversion of water into ice, is called freezing. Now let us learn water cycle. You have learned that the continuous cycling of water among its three forms, that is solid, liquid and gaseous forms, keeps the total amount of water on the earth constant. The cyclic process by which water circulates between the earth's oceans, atmosphere and land is called water cycle. The process involved in water cycle are evaporation, condensation and precipitation. These three are the main processes involved in water cycle, that are evaporation, condensation and precipitation. Water evaporates and goes to the atmosphere to form water vapor. This process is called evaporation. That is, the conversion of water into water vapor is termed as evaporation. These water vapor come close to each other to form clouds. The water vapor change the water droplets in the form of rain. The steam or water vapor then change to water droplet, that is rain, in the form of rain. That process is called condensation. Conversion of water vapor into water, that is liquid form, is termed as condensation. Rain is the form of precipitation. All the rainwater that falls on land does not immediately flow back into the sea. It seeps into the land and increases the underground water level. Thus, the whole process in which water evaporates and falls back on the land and water bodies is called water cycle. Now let us discuss groundwater as an important source of water. If we dig a hole in the ground near a water body, we may find that the soil is moist. This moisture in the soil indicates the presence of water underground. The presence of moisture soil, that indicates that the presence of water near that space. If we dig deeper and deeper, we would reach a level where all the space between particles of soil and gaps between rocks are filled with water. If we dig deeper and deeper in the soil, we would reach a level where all the space between the soil particle and the gaps between rocks that are filled with water. The upper level of this layer is called water table. So the upper level of this layer of water is called water table. The water table varies from place to place and it may even change at a given place. It may be at a depth of less than a meter or maybe several meters below the ground. The water that found below the water table is called groundwater. The upper layer of groundwater is called water table and the water that found below this water table is called as groundwater. Do you know what is the source of this groundwater? The rainwater and water from other sources such as rivers, ponds, etc. seeps through the soil and it fills the empty spaces and cracks deep below the ground. The rainwater and other sources of water, for example river, pond, etc. seep through the soil and fill the gap and cracks deep below the ground. This process of seeping of water is called as infiltration. What is infiltration? The process of seeping water into the ground, especially rainwater, is termed as infiltration. So the groundwater thus gets recharged by this process. How can we recharge the groundwater? The rainwater seep into the ground. That process is called infiltration. So the groundwater gets recharged by the process infiltration. What is the process name? It is infiltration. In some places, the groundwater is stored between layers of hard rock below the water table. Below the water table, there may be hard rock. The water stored between layers of hard rock below this water table is termed as aquifer. Water in the aquifers can be usually pumped out with the help of tube wells or hand pumps.